How's it going? My name is Nathan Glover, and this is my submission for the AWS Chatbot Challenge. My submission title is called Fluffy Finder. Bit of background about myself is I just love to build things. I'm a computer science student. I have cats, dogs, frogs, and lizards. And basically, I always think about the end user when I'm building things. The problem that I wanted to solve is that animals just want love. And a lot of rescue groups are typically non-for-profit. They don't have a huge amount of money to spend on human resources, which means slow response times when you're trying to ask them questions about potentially fostering or adopting animals. So my goal was to streamline adoption using a chatbot. So I wanted to provide value and not more work. So basically the chatbot needed to not be confusing and not add extra steps to the process. I just want to engage people and inform people and basically just give animals a second chance for a loving home. I built Fluffy Finder to be open-ended and to be able to interact and to connect with other services out there. So I didn't want to compete with people, basically. I wanted to free up time from volunteers with organizations like RSPCA and basically just help streamline the process of finding animals loving homes. So here's a demo of my bot. To get started, type help and let's select help me choose. This will return the phrase that I should use to invoke the random pet generator. Now, we select what type of pet size we want, and I'm going to go with small. And what sound does it make? I'm going to go with woof, because I want a dog. And I get the dog, Skip. Skip has been vaccinated and desexed, and it returns me a bit of information about him. I've excluded contact information from this build, just because I don't want to breach anybody's privacy. It can be accessed through the API, however. Next, I'll type help, and click list types. This will list the types of animals that are available, and again, it tells me the phrase I used to invoke. Now, in this case, I want to actually find a cat, so I want a cat. Now, I get a huge list of different breeds. I'm very fond of tortoiseshell cats, so I'm going to use the hint, I want a tortoiseshell breed of cat. And I get a big post, a cat named Tori. Tori has been vaccinated, desexed, house-trained, and this particular ad actually gives me quite a bit of information about how I can get involved and maybe adopt her. And finally, if I type help, I can click fostering. And this is just basically a way of me saying to people, fostering is great, and it's a good way of making or helping an animal that needs you without making any long-term commitments. And I've given just an example of Cat Haven for this. If you're not able to join my Slack room to use my bot, you can build it yourself by going to the Lex folder, open up the bot definition JSON file, and use this to construct my bot. If you need to generate this JSON file, use the export chatbot function or bash script, just making sure to define a Python 2.7 version for the active path. You can build the Lambda zip using this bash script as well. And if you need to see my code, it's under the Lambda folder and called get petinfo.py. The rest of these files here, secret.py, contains the API key used for the Pet Finder API, and config.py is just some random variables that I use to keep things a little bit neater. My solution design is displayed here. The end user will interact with Fluffy Finder through Slack at the moment, but eventually Cisco Spark, Twilio, and Messenger. And that talks to Lex, which invokes a Lambda expression or command called getPetInfo. And that talks to the Pet Finder API, which is a free API on the web that I'm using for this project. And that's where I'm at the moment. Basically, with my future work, I've contacted Pet Rescue and I'm hoping to get an API key so I can use their database and make it more relevant for Australians. I'd also like to integrate services like DynamoDB that will allow people to ask things like, hey, I'd like to foster a dog and I live in Perth, WA. And then Fluffy Finder would log that entry, and when a dog does become available, alert that person to the fact that they can basically come either adopt or foster that animal. Thanks heaps for listening to my presentation. I had a lot of fun playing around with Lex, Lambda, and basically the whole AWS platform. And I'd love to continue doing work on this project with the support of you guys. Thanks very much.